Hi everyone. This is the last video that I'll be recording for the semester, and this is going to be about the final exam. And I hope you'll do a good job in this exam. So let me just share my screen here and just show you like what I've uploaded so far, and let me know if you can see these things. Um, so this is what it should look like. I mean, let me go. This is in the assignments. So this is what you should see here in the final exam. You should see the final exam here. It opens in May 8th. That means it opens on Thursday, and it closes on May 13th. That's Tuesday. So please double check that. But I think that's when it starts and end. But let's look at this. So when you click on this, you will see that to make a scheduling. So we split the exam into three parts: Part A, Part B, Part C. Each part is timed for 120 minutes. So actually, I think I'm giving you way more time than what this exam usually took in the last semesters. It was given only 15 minutes. You have 25 questions and 15 minutes was given, so 2 minutes for each questions. But for my final exam, I'm giving a lot more time here so that people with accessibility needs and also regular student can take time and think about what they're doing, right? So that's it. So 120 minutes. So should be more than enough time to finish these 25 multiple choice questions. And I tried the questions right now, and I think everything is fine. I just did it myself right now, and I think everything looks okay. Um, and you can take this exam anytime between May 8th to May 13th, right? So you can take any time between May 8th and May 13th, and late submission will not be accepted, right? So after it passes the deadline, then I think that's it. The decision is made, right? Um, so because I'll have to submit the grade right after the Tuesday, I have to start looking at your grade. If there needs to be a curve that needs to be provided, I'll look into that, and and then I'll work on submitting your grade, right? So please finish it before the deadline, right? Before May 13th. That's the deadline. So please look into that. And let me just double check that May 13th is actually, yeah, so May 13th is Tuesday, May 8th is Thursday, right? So that's good. Just to double check that so that I'm not confusing the students. All right, so that's the main thing. Let's look at the exams real quick, what it's going to look like. So it has 25 questions. And remember, 40 points is 4% of your grade. So every 10 points in this class is 4%. Um, so if you do like 25 questions, then you get 40 points, right? So let me do the math here. 40 divided by 25 is, yeah, every question is worth 1.6%, right? So to get 1% of your grade, um, so if I do 1.6, 10 divided by 1.6. So if you solve 6 1/4 questions, then you get 10 points, right? So 40 questions, sorry, 40 points, 25 questions, right? And it's going to be 120 minutes. And remember, this is open book, open notes. So you can feel free to feel free to use your course material, and and you can do that, right? But please don't ask this help from any person or even online, right? So please don't go to Chegg or other websites to get answers online, right? So please, this is important. Make sure you do that. All right. So, and why do I have like three different questions? We have part A, part B, and part C. The reason we have three different questions is so that you can take part one and then and see how well you did or how poorly you did. Maybe you want to like maybe you take an exam on Thursday and you see that your preparation is not that good, then you can study um maybe you can study a little bit more and take the exam on Monday or something like that, right? So it allows you that flexibility so that you can do better in this part B and part C, right? Because all these questions are equally same level of difficulty as it says here, right? So this is 4% or 40 points, 4%, 40 points, and 4%. And each of them have 25 questions, right? So let's talk about what is going to be in the exam. This part, I don't want to talk too much about it, because if I do talk about what's going to be an exam, it's going to take me like 2 hours of my time to 2 hours of my time to just go over through what's going to be in the exam. But instead of doing that, I'll give you some helpful tips, right? So the type of questions that you will see in the exam is going to be something um, it's going to be something I have talked about in the class, right? So if I like while I'm coding, I say like, okay, this is the reason why we're doing this. I explain some things in the class, and if you have followed along the lectures and if you've done all your project 1, B, and C, and project 1, 2, and 3, then this exam should be easier than if you did not follow the lectures and if you haven't done the assignments. So make sure so if you haven't done these assignments, it is going to be a little bit tricky for you, right? But please don't give up, right? Even if you haven't done some of the assignments, what you can do is use elimination strategies, right? So for example, some questions, some answer for some of the questions are going to be very, very absurd, right? It doesn't fit the criteria. So try to eliminate some of those things. Another tips I would give you is get like your Android Studio open right next to you, right? So open your Android Studio and then open project 1A, 1B, 1C, project 2A, 2B, 2C, and project 3. Open all those. Maybe you want to get a double monitor, right? So one monitor, you can open up all your codes from project 1A, 1B, 1C, 2A, 2B, and 2C, because the questions are going to closely uh, mirror those, um, mirror those things that we did in the class, right? And the things that I explained in the class, right? So it's going to be like that. And always use the elimination strategy, right? And the last thing I want to say is, I mean, there are some difficult questions that are from the book. Remember that you're also supposed to read the book. For this class, you were given these recommended readings, right? So you're supposed to read chapter 1. It's questions are mostly going to be concepts from BNRG, right? Chapter 2 or 3, 4 or 5. But even, I mean, there's some difficult questions, but like I said, um, if you mess up 10 questions, right, that's just 1.6% of your grade, right? So there are going to be a few difficult questions, but please don't worry about it, because that's only a minor. It's minimal, right? Every question is like 0.16% of your grade, right? So there's going to be some difficult question, but if you use the elimination strategy, I think it should be good, right? If you remove the absurd answers that you see, if you remove those, then you should be fine. The next thing I want to say is you can, if you go to these exams, you can move around the question, right? So you can, if you go here, you are allowed to, um, it's not one question at a time, right? You can see all the questions at once. So what I learned, this was a very useful strategy that I learned in my undergrad that really helped me, was like just when you start this. So I learned this strategy from this book called How to Be a Straight A Student by Cal Newport. I read that book several times in my undergrad. It really helped me in my undergrad. So what he says was um, before like starting the exam, look through all the questions, right? Look through all the questions, 1 to all the way to 25, right? Without answering it. Just keep those questions in the back of the mind, right? Let your brain not get shocked, right? Because so that you can, your subconscious mind can think about all the questions that are out here, then prepare mentally how difficult the exam is, right? So go over through all the questions, and then it might seem quite difficult, but once you start looking at your code and once you start thinking about using elimination strategies, I think it should get better for you, right? But look at all the questions at once. Maybe take the first 5 minutes, right, of your time looking through all 25 questions briefly. It will it will help you prepare mentally that, okay, this is the type of questions you're doing, and you'll see some easy questions. You'll be like, okay, I got this. At least I can finish 15 questions easily out of these 25 questions. And then you'll get prepared mentally. And then after that, do this, right? Work on the easier questions, all the questions you feel you are confident, finish those questions. And then second, after you're done with all those easy questions that you finish, you think you're confident about that, then jump around and uh, try to solve questions that are relatively more challenging, and then keep on solving those one at a time, right? So if you do that, I think you'll be able to finish this. And the question is going to be, like I said, from all the project 1, 2, 3, everything. So please open your Android Studio, put multiple monitors. On one monitor, put all your code for your Android Studio so that you can look at those. And then also, like, you can even put the book BNRG next to you if you need that, and then just follow along, right? And I think 2 hours is going to be plenty of time, right? So last semesters, for every question, you only got 2 minutes, right? You have 50 minutes exam, but I'm giving you a whole 2 hours to complete this exam. So I think it should, at least you should not be scrambling to finish this exam, right? I think you should be able to finish it on time. So that's all my thoughts. I didn't want to go through all the content materials because that would take a lot of time because it's going to cover all the way from project 1 and project 2 and project 3, and there's a lot of these concepts, right? It goes all the way from interactions and activities and view models and debugging and testing and intent and fragment, recycler view, layouts, database, navigation, dialogues, all this topic, right? So I didn't want to do that. But all the best. I think you will do great. And just follow the strategies that I mentioned in this class, and you should be good. All right. Thank you very much. I've enjoyed teaching this class. All the best. And I hope you have a great summer. Bye-bye.